Good afternoon, everyone. Aron here from the Worley Bugger Fly Company, bringing you your weekly Yakima River fly fishing report from the river side of the upper Yakima. The water is continuing to drop as we are in the flip-flop, slowly coming down, not quite low enough to be effectively weighted yet, but on its way there, 1850-ish. And dropping a few hundred CFS every few days, so averaging about 100 a day roughly. Fishing has remained pretty consistent if you don't get too much heat or wind. Nymphing been good, dry fly fishing been good, streamer fishing not so much, dry dropper also really effective last few days. Bugs coming up, same thing we've been talking about. Crane flies, starting to see a lot of crane flies. Fish aren't quite on them yet, but starting to take a little bit of notice. Seen a few trying to pop crane flies, fished it a little bit here and there. Stone fly though, the short wing stone, and then October caddis and blue wing coming up. Still a few hoppers around. Other than that, I would kind of start turning your focus to the fall nymphs and dry fly patterns.
Good morning, everybody. It's Steve from Worley Bugger. It is September 6th here at the upper bridge, about the middle portion of the Farmlands or so. As you can see, beautiful morning, and the river nice and low, continuing to drop here. In this section, running at about a little under 1,000 cubic feet per second. So if you don't understand that equation, at about 1,800 cubic feet per second, the river is easily wadeable in most sections. So the river's continuing to drop. I'm sure we're going to see it go much lower with the rate and the capacity that our reservoirs are at right now. Really kind of surprised to see it flowing with this much water, to tell you the truth. So big temperature swings here, especially over the weekend. Again, we're going to see temperatures up in the high 90-degree range, which is unfortunate and unusual for this time of year, but you know, the weather patterns all year have been very erratic, up and down all over the place. So 50s at night, mid 50s, up in the 90s the next couple of days until Monday. It looks like it starts to cool off and back down in the 80s. So you might see a slow period, you know, during the afternoon. The water temperature gets too hot, especially being low and clear. You know, the river is gin clear, as you can see. So with bright sun, we do have some smoke in the air today, a little bit of haze. There's some fires around us. There's one going up in Cle Elum there. There hasn't been much wind to blow it out of here, so the last couple of days we've had some haze. The smoke's not, it's not, you know, terrible, not like you're choking on it, but very noticeable. So bug wise, you know, this is, you know, typical time of the year for crane flies, and we're starting to see lots and lots of crane flies on the river. However, I think you're gonna find, you know, at certain times of the day, the fish just aren't gonna be willing to take them. The crane flies are typically laying eggs in you know, slower, very still portions of the river. And, you know, with it as warm as what it is, the fish are not going to be holding in that water because it's going to be too warm. So you'll probably find the best crane fly fishing is going to be, you know, in the early morning or the late evening when things have cooled off. Fish will be moving around a lot, so in the morning, you know, those first few hours they'll be in that water, you know, trying to eat crane flies because they love it. And then you know, as it warms up, they're gonna push out of that water and push where there's more oxygen, and that's gonna be in the riffles, you know, in the faster moving water, especially the bigger fish. They're really oxygen dependent until it cools off next week. You know, then we'll probably see, you know, a vast improvement in crane fly fishing where, you know, we can fish it all day once the temperatures drop off. Also a big stonefly hatch happening. So you can see here on the rocks, short wing stones crawling up out of the river. So in certain portions they'll be eating crane flies, stone flies. And then with that, you know, with that, as warm as it is, I'm not going to see much mayfly action until it cools off. But blue wings are on the horizon. Definitely lots of nymphs around. So have a good assortment of those handy. Probably size 16 and 18. Wow, look at this. Look at this piling here on the bridge. Look at the stoneflies that hatch there. So one of our biggest stonefly hatches of the year for sure. Probably about as big as what the Squala stone is. Yakima is a big stonefly river, but the short wings and the Squalas, you know, probably the biggest populations of stoneflies in the river. And yellow sallies too. There's a lot of yellow sallies, but the fish really eat a lot of these stoneflies. So we're typically fishing those in size 8s and 10s too, both the nymph and the adult. There's a wide variety of good stonefly patterns, so not that they get focused on eating just one. Just pop in here to Reinhardt real quick and give you a nice little view from last week. You can see how the river is changing as it's dropping. Again, just a reminder, you know, we had a lot of problems here last year. This tree is gonna definitely create some problems. You can start to see the pilings that are starting to stick up there, creating those big movements of volumes of water, you know, pushing there right underneath the bridge. So that's where those pilings are. As the river drops, those are going to be more exposed. So that's definitely a problem area in the river. You have to really pay attention if you're boating. You know, and one thing that I've been telling folks, you know, the last couple of weeks I've been fishing with is, you know, everybody wants to be a great caster, which is absolutely crucial in fly fishing. Accuracy, being able to put the fly where it needs to be. But, you know, fishing from the boat, you have to realize, like, this water that the fish are swimming in right now, this below 1,000 cubic feet, this is like lake water to them, to these trout. Think about it this way. Most of the year, this river is flowing over 5,000 cubic feet. So these fish are in big volumes of water the majority of the year, during big spring runoff, during the summer. So the majority of the time they're swimming in big volumes, heavy water. Once the river drops in the fall, and this thing's below 1,000 cubic feet, it's like swimming in a lake for them. They can go anywhere they want to. So, especially fishing from the boat, keep in mind you don't need a ton of line. It's one of the biggest problems that me and Aron struggle with people is they want to overcast all the time. The boat is going to put you right where the fish are. Short, little methodical casts, controlling the speed of the line, controls the speed of the fly. If you're not a good line control fly fisherman, you're going to have a lot of problems. It's going to create a lot of drag. The more line you get on the water, the more your fly is going to be out of control and moving too fast. It's absolutely crucial in our river, but in most rivers, that the fly is presented properly and that the fly is drag free. So the less line you have on the water, the more you can easily control it and control that speed. And also it slows the fly down, keeps the fly in front of the fish longer. So the longer the fly is in front of the fish, the more chances he is that they're gonna eat it. If it just goes zipping by them, they're already back onto the next 1,000 things that they're constantly looking at in the river that's floating by. So keep that in mind as you're drifting this fall. It's a good tip, and everybody, again, have a great weekend.
Other than that, not too much more to report. Watch out, the low water is moving a few things around. The river has certainly changed, specifically this upper stretch. A few new bars, a few new hazards around, so keep your head on a swivel if you're going to be in this section. If you have any other questions regarding the fall fishing or any questions regarding the Yakima fly fishing, call the Pro Shop. We'd love to help you out there. Hope everyone's having a fantastic week. We'll see you out here, tight lines.